Although doing racing videos isn't as much as a priority for me these days, I still enjoy doing videos that make me happy. Trust me, you have no idea how burned out I was over doing the Dragon Must Roar videos again, and again, and again. I want to do things that make me happy. And lately, doing these racing story videos have been real fun for me. The stories of the Triple Black Flag race and Johnny Benson's Cube Car were instant hits. The story of Craftsman's original grand finale in NASCAR initially wasn't as successful, which did disappoint me, but I still enjoyed doing that video. So, I wondered what I could do a story on next. Although there are plenty of truck races I could tell the story of, I wanted to do something a bit different this time around. Maybe a cup race, or even an Xfinity race. Then I realized a big anniversary was coming up. And that's when I knew what my next racing story video was going to be about. 2002 was a very up and down year for me in terms of NASCAR. That year, I had 3 drivers that I liked for one reason or another. Bill Elliott was having a career resurgence. Andy Houston was screwed over badly by Herzog Motorsports, who was just using Andy as a placeholder for owner points until the driver they actually wanted, Todd Bodine, became available. No, I am not making that up. And then there was the third driver that I had started rooting for in the fall of 2001. A driver that you know very well if you follow this channel. And that driver, of course, is Johnny Benson. Johnny Benson's 2002 season had to have been one of the most up and down years a driver could possibly have. Without detailing every single thing that happened to him in 2002, he nearly gets choked out by black smoke at Talladega after the big one to the point he was stretchered off and treated for smoke inhalation. I wish I was making that up. Then, lo and behold, the first race I get to see him race in live, the 2002 Hardee's 250 Richmond Busch race, Brian Vickers wrecks him and Johnny suffers 3 broken ribs on the left side as a result. Johnny comes back 3 races later, just for Michael Waltrip to wreck and injure Johnny at Daytona, breaking 3 ribs on his right side, also causing a partially collapsed lung. Johnny comes back 2 races later, and things actually mostly improve. Probably should have won New Hampshire if not for rain. Definitely should have won Martinsville if he'd raced Roush-era Kurt Busch the way Roush-era Kurt Busch raced everyone else. All of that, and then some, all culminated into one race. This is my story of the 2002 Pop Secret Microwave Popcorn 400. 20 years later. Rockingham is one of the more popular tracks on the NASCAR schedule, and the championship battle was pretty much a 3-horse race with Tony Stewart having essentially a 1-race advantage over Mark Martin and rookie Jimmy Johnson. Ryan Newman, another rookie, started on pole, and yes, that is in fact Jamie McMurray in the 40 car. The race started and there was good racing all the way around. Newman checked out and the field separated nicely. The racing throughout the field was still going good until lap 22 when Michael Waltrip spun Bobby Hamilton Sr., resulting in Mike Wallace getting collected and getting crashed out.
141 and Bobby Hamilton had just spun up in 3 and 4, and Mike Wallace has made contact, pretty heavy contact with him.
Caution is out, first one of the day. And Bobby came back down the hill right in Mike's path.
And that steam that we see in the front of the car means the radiator is broken in the Conseco car.
Okay, get them tires up against that wall. I'm coming in for 4.
Guaranteed. Even though it's only 22 laps in. Although pit road is closed right now because, well, let's see, is it going to be open? Pace car's got the field.
I think so, because those cars are a long ways from the entrance to pit road. So.
I was wondering if they were going to keep it closed because of where the cars came to rest, but he's got the green flag in his hand, the official there, so there we go.
There it is. See what happened here. That may have been a little contact there.
Got some help.
Hard to say. There seemed to be space between Michael Waltrip and Bobby Hamilton, but
everyone pitted under that caution. The race resumed on lap 28. Ryan Newman now leads Mark Martin, who at this point is gaining massive points on Tony Stewart after Stewart had some struggles during the round of pit stops. Mark Martin passed Ryan Newman for the lead to get 5 bonus points for leading a lap, albeit temporarily as Newman quickly passed him back. Afterwards, a surprise challenger in Jeff Green passed them both for the lead. Martin passed Newman later on for second. There was more good racing all throughout the field. Meanwhile, championship leader Tony Stewart was still having his struggle in the back of the pack. Things got worse for Stewart as Mark Martin did eventually chase down and pass Jeff Green for the lead. In a non-typical Rockingham fashion, this was actually a very long green flag run, to the point that TNT could go through the field, which is when all the pit reporters gave updates on the top 20 in the field at the time. Tony Stewart, in 33rd, also got one.
Now the story on championship leader Tony Stewart is not how far behind the leader he is, but how close the leader is behind him. He continues to struggle, running in the 33rd spot. He said we need to make this car roll through the center. It is just too tight. This is not the day people expected from Tony Stewart, not the day they were hoping for. But it's a battle, and as you can see, the race leader closing in on the championship leader. Wow.
Well, I'll say wow.
Tony Stewart has never finished worse than 12th at Rockingham in his Winston Cup career. It's early, plenty of time for a rally, but right now, Stewart's 146-point advantage is just 30 with Mark Martin out in front.
As if things couldn't get any worse, Stewart eventually went a lap down at the hands of Mark Martin. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip began the round of green flag pit stops with a good amount of drivers opting to short pit, which would give them an advantage regarding tire wear. Dale Jarrett had a scare as he was nearly wrecked by Greg Biffle in a 3-wide situation with Kenny Wallace. Jeff Green passes Mark Martin back for the lead. Soon after, the rest of the green flag pit stops were completed without interference from a caution. Mark Martin cycled out as the leader. With Tony Stewart in 30th, it appeared Mark was going to get some big-time point gains on Stewart. Soon after Kurt Busch passed Mark for the lead, another through the field commenced, this time with the top 10, and then Tony Stewart. Mark Martin then loses second to Jeff Green. Another round of green flag pit stops started, first by the short pitters. Ryan Newman had a huge struggle on pit road due to issues regarding a spring rubber. Soon after, the rest of the field completed their green flag pit stops once again without interference from a caution. With leader Mark Martin being the one of the last ones to pit, Jeff Green took the lead. Soon after, the first caution at over 200 laps came out on lap 229 as a debris caution flew.
Caution is out, debris in turn 1.
Well, let's see. Right now we have 16 cars in the lead lap. How many going to get a lap back on Jeff Green? Here he comes off the corner. Bill Elliott's getting a lap back.
Oh, he's letting a bunch of them.
Bunch of them going to get it, but Rusty Wallace did not. Oh, man.
I guess he was waiting for his teammate, Robbie Gordon.
Yes, looked that way.
But in the meantime, he gave a couple of them a break.
After some pit stops, the restart came on lap 235 as Jeff Green was now leading Kurt Busch. It didn't take Kurt long to pass Jeff for the lead. Soon after, Jeff lost 2 more positions to Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon. The racing picked up where it left off with a lot of action all throughout the field. Just as Jimmy Johnson finished making a green flag pit stop, Todd Bodine had a right front tire go down on his car and crashed in turn 1 on lap 257, resulting in another caution coming out.
They sent their former right rear tire changer down to the 60. Caution on the track.
Oh, man.
Todd Bodine
had a great run going. He was 7th position.
Todd. Yeah, I'm all right.
that has all the makings of a right front.
Well, it sure does.
Going down. Caution is out, 3rd time in the race. Further damage for Jimmy Johnson because now he probably lost another lap on that unscheduled pit stop. And indeed, it traps him now 3 laps down to the race leader.
Yeah, you might be right, Alan. He hit the wall way early in the turn 1, like he went straight.
Well, here's the camera going down in turn 1. There comes Todd Bodine right at us.
Yep, right front tire comes down.
We see the tires start coming apart.
Great shot.
Oh, this won't be fun.
No, just listen.
Yeah, all you got to do is listen to this.
Yikes. That's a hard hit.
Everyone pitted under that caution. During this round of pit stops, Jeff Gordon hit the right rear tire for Bill Elliott.
He's off pit road. He hit the rear tire off Elliott's car. You have to check the front valence, guys, when he comes around.
Yeah, he hit that pretty hard, Matt. We'll have to take a look at that.
Everybody got up and continued to finish the stop. Good news there.
Of course, Jeff Gordon being Jeff Gordon, all his car suffered was a wheel mark on the front valence. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson's struggles had continued to the point he had to go behind the wall. This effectively ended his championship hopes for 2002. The restart came on lap 265. Kurt Busch remained the leader as he now had to fend off Rusty Wallace, who was trying to get a lap back. He managed to fend off Rusty, but he soon had to fend off his teammate Mark Martin, who was racing Kurt for the lead. After a while, Mark did eventually take the lead. Kurt wasn't giving up, but soon after, the caution flew again.
Trouble for Ward Burton has brought the caution flag out here at Rockingham. The turn 3 wall did the damage to the back end of the Cat Dodge. And the front end.
And the sides.
And here's how. Meantime, the leaders are coming to the entrance to pit road. Oh,
Yeah,
he and Brett
got hit.
Bodine brushed.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like you were starting to say, Benny. It started way back there in the straightaway.
The incident that's put us under caution that resulted in Ward Burton getting crashed.
Ward Burton crashed on lap 291 after hitting Brett Bodine for some reason. Ward being Ward blamed Brett for it.
Marty, Scott Ward Burton.
Indeed, Alan, and he's walked away from his car. What happened there, Ward?
11 car got into me, cut the left front down. Put around like shit all day anyway.
Obviously, very disgusted with the way they did run today and what happened out on the track.
Well, in the heat of the moment, sometimes you say things that you wish you hadn't said. I'm sure that tomorrow Ward will wish he hadn't said that. But today's today, and he's very disappointed.
Everyone pitted with Mark Martin maintaining the lead with the restart coming lap 297. Ryan Newman, who got lapped during the race after the spring rubber issue, got around Mark to get his lap back. With Mark leading, a new contender was coming into play.
Today, Mark Martin has got himself in the lead, in a pretty comfortable lead right now. Half a second over Kurt Busch, but he's got some serious problems on the way.
In the
Johnny Benson.
Yeah, 10 car.
Oh, man, he is flying right now.
There's Johnny trying to close in on Bobby Labonte for 3rd place. 10 car started 26th, Marty.
And he's rolling in the Allen. He's doing a good job coming up through the field. We've been talking all day about how the 10 car's been a little bit tight. They have finally gotten the car to Johnny's liking. It has not got the tight condition any longer. Comes to him, stays with him on the longer runs. That's a big key. He's only 2 weeks removed from that big 2nd place finish at Martinsville. Could be another big one today. Maybe the first career win. Who knows?
Yeah, but here's the thing about that Martinsville race, Marty. They didn't consider that a big finish. They considered that a huge disappointment. Johnny said, you know, a couple years ago, 2nd place was really cool. Now, 2nd place, well, he used a word that begins with S and, you know.
He doesn't like.
Rhymes with a hockey puck.
Yeah.
He said it just wasn't good to finish 2nd anymore. He's at a point where he really needs to win one of these things. And if he can get close to the leaders at the end of the day, will the desperation factor figure in? Well, the frustration factor. We talked about that in the countdown to green.
As that was developing, Jeff Gordon does what he does best, bump Rusty Wallace. Meanwhile, Kurt Busch makes another challenge for the lead and takes it from Mark Martin. Both are trying to get the 5-point bonus for leading the most laps. The Roush duo had to watch out as Johnny Benson had caught them both. Johnny passed Mark Martin for 2nd, and eventually...
Bill, look on the racetrack, man. We've got ourselves a great battle for the lead. Johnny Benson in the 10 and Kurt Busch in 97.
3 wide around the lap cars.
Wow.
Benson low, Kurt Busch high. Remember at Martinsville 2 weeks ago, Johnny got to Kurt Busch but couldn't pass him for the win. Wound up finishing 2nd.
Now Kurt Busch has no choice but go down the bottom of the racetrack to try to get by Jarrett. His car doesn't run that well down there, but it looks like he can make that pass on TJ.
He got loose there. He got loose in turn 2.
Watch your entry,
Benson alongside for the race lead. Does he have enough to get by this time?
Looks like he does.
Yeah, he's hurt loose right now.
First time all day, Johnny Benson will go to the point. 27 laps to go when they come back. Benson started the day in 26th position. Can he become another first-time winner this 2002 season?
Kurt started losing time as the race for the win now came down to that generation's two gentleman racers in Mark Martin and Johnny Benson. With when the last set of pit stops came, fuel mileage was coming into play.
This came over Johnny Benson's radio a little bit ago about the fuel situation.
I got 28 more laps. Get you a rhythm. I want you to start floating it in. Save me a little bit of fuel. You're all clear.
Save me a little bit of fuel. In other words, we're awful close.
Meanwhile, regarding the championship that Mark Martin was also chasing, Tony Stewart was making a huge rebound.
The net damage on the day to Tony is going to be a fraction of what it might have been earlier. So this is big late in the race if he can go to the finish.
Even with that, the intense racing between the two gentleman racers and the fuel questions provided for an intense, thrilling, and dramatic finish. Which of the two gentleman racers would win?
5 to go. Johnny Benson, a second-generation racer from Grand Rapids, Michigan, grew up in his dad's garage watching John Benson Sr. build winning race cars for years.
See, John just took Mark's exit off of two away, and that hurt Mark probably a car lap or two.
43 car just stopped on fresher tires. He goes through the leaders.
You can't drift coming out of two up against the wall. You got to get out of the throttle, and that's where Mark lost a lot of time right there.
Smooth, buddy. You can get him.
He's definitely wheel spinning those tires off of two. Mark is.
19 car, Jeremy Mayfield. He was in on fresh tires. He'll come through the leaders pretty quickly.
And here again, these guys with new tires are taking the racetrack away from Mark and even Johnny, and it really could change the outcome of this race.
But it's not affecting Johnny as much because he's running that high line. These guys going by on the inside. He's comfortable on the outside. Mark isn't. He wants to run on the bottom of the racetrack.
Big game that time for Mark. And Jeremy Mayfield got around Johnny. Coming to 2 laps to go. Will the fuel hold up for both of these drivers? Who will win?
Here you go, pal. Get all you get.
Johnny Benson in his 226th Winston Cup start, seeking victory number 1. Mark Martin looking for his 34th career win and a gain in the championship. He's right on the bumper as they come to the white flag.
And Benson's teammate, Kenny Schrader, is out of fuel on the apron.
White flag is up. Final lap at Rockingham. Fuel and the checkered flag. How's it going to play out? Benson protects the bottom in 1 and 2. Here comes Mark on the charge. So far, so good on fuel. Final corners ahead. Martin diving down low. One final charge off the last corner. It's not going to be enough. Johnny Benson is a NASCAR Winston Cup winner.
The first thing he just thought was, finally.
Finally, yes. I thought this day would never come.
The 1996 Winston Cup Rookie of the Year. Finally, all these years later, excuse me, we'll get a trophy. Looks like Jeff Green ran out of gas, too, coming off the final corners.
And looking down the board here, looked like Skinner did make it on fuel.
And Tony Stewart finished 14th.
I know if we stuck together, we can get this done. Sure, awesome job, guys. Awesome job. That's pretty damn sweet. You see how it feels twice as good to knocking them out of the way, although we would have 2 by now.
Think it back to Martinsville when he could have hit Kurt Busch and knocked him out of the way to win. Johnny Benson, his 226th race, his first victory after finishing second 3 times, and he's going to take out the grass. First-time winner this season, Johnny Benson, going to victory lane. We'll talk with he and the other top finishers when we come back to Rockingham after this.
Sure enough, Johnny ran out of fuel after the burnout and had to be pushed to victory lane. If not for that, the celebration would have mimicked Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s win in the 1998 Daytona 500. I am not making that up. For those curious about Mark Martin versus Tony Stewart for the championship, Tony Stewart's lead was cut down to 87 points. However, there was a technical infraction post-race for Mark Martin which cost him 25 points, making Tony's lead grow to 112 points. Given this is Mark Martin, you know how that story ends. Regardless, this was Johnny Benson's day, and he and his team celebrated in Victory Lane.
Johnny Benson's first race in the NASCAR Busch Series was at the Michigan Speedway, driving a car for Ernie Irvan. In the early laps, he ended up upside down, sliding down the backstretch. It's a memory that he has. It's not his favorite Busch memory, but it's the one that got him started in NASCAR. And today, Johnny Benson, for the first time, is a NASCAR Winston Cup winner. And as you can imagine, a lot of handshakes and hugs all around.
Yeah. Hit it, baby. Hit it. Burn it, baby. On the way. Get back, brother. Get in here. Get in here. Long time. Long time. JB, you're the heat, man.
And we offer our congratulations. Your first Winston Cup
That's a long time coming. James Ensign, a guy, but we were terrible happy hour. James says, well, we're going to change truck arms, we're going to change springs, change shocks, change sway bar, and all the confidence in the world that it was going to be okay. I mean, well, sure, you know, I mean, he said, after I come back hurt, he says, we're going to win 4 of these. And we've been close, just haven't been able to win it. And I was glad I was able to get by him without wrecking him, you know. That's my biggest thing. I'm going to race everybody clean and like racing with Kurt, Mark Martin, those guys just, man, they're great racers. And they run me clean, and hopefully I can do the same, and because I felt like I have all the time.
You were a teammate with Mark Martin. I know that means a lot to you to beat him in that fashion.
Well, the field. You got to beat the field. It's not any one driver. I mean, you can name the whole list, and it's great to be in front of him. Valvoline Pontiac was awesome. Oh, Missile Smith Spies, Xerox, I mean, everybody has just done a tremendous job. But I gotta say hi to Megan, one of the guys on the team here. Got her hair caught in the lift gate yesterday and got her pretty good. So hope she's doing good. Like to have seen you here. It would have been a good one for you. Just everybody else. My mother-in-law, she's hurt, so everybody's been hurt this year. I've been taking time off, and hey, how long we got, man? Because I could talk all night.
I'm sure you could, but I just want you to talk about, you were on the bench twice this season with rib injuries. A lot of people were surprised when you came back, but you came back determined to get this team to victory lane.
I was determined before that. We just, you know, it just haven't been our year this year. I mean, last year was a pretty good year. We were real optimistic coming in this year, feeling that we could run in top 5 in points, and it's been pretty dismal. But all the guys back at the shop, Hendrick Motors, they've been great with us all year, and just a great win. I mean, I can't tell you how happy I am for this crew. I mean, not so much myself winning, but these guys deserve it. They work hard, and a lot of guys that were with me at Bahari Racing, we've almost won some, and man, this won't sink in until tomorrow, I'm sure.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Johnny Benson in victory lane for the first time.
Even while editing this video, I still felt that same intensity inside of me watching this race now that I did 20 years ago cheering Johnny on. Although he should have won way more races in the Cup Series by this point, this ended up being Johnny Benson's only win in the Cup Series. However, after everything that had happened to him, and especially in 2002, and personally that also includes me being frustrated over him losing Martinsville the way he did, this win, in more ways than one, was the ultimate redemption for Johnny.